So if you're like me, you may not have friends. I'm just kidding, but you may not have people to help you film. So here's a few tips on how to film by yourself. So first things first, let's talk about the gear you need. You're gonna need a camera, duh, and your best friend, your pal in all of this, a tripod. Tripods that go for super cheap. You can get expensive ones, cheap ones, doesn't matter. Just get any kind of tripod and then you should be ready to go. So the first tip is to get your establishing shots, and this can be done with a drone, a wide angle lens. Just let the viewer know where your film is taking place. It sets up the scene, it sets up the mood of your film, and that would be always one of the first shots I'd get. My second tip is to get multiple different shots. Get a variation of shots of a scene. So I could be taking a hike on a trail. I can start off with a nice wide establishing shot, and then we can get in a bit closer with a medium shot of me walking down the trail, and then maybe a close-up shot of my feet or something like that to really establish all these different angles of one scene. It keeps your audience interested. I mean, imagine just looking at a stagnant shot of you walking down a trail for 30 seconds. It get pretty boring. So super important to change up your shots, even if it's just one scene. The easiest way to remember it is to remember to have a wide angle shot, a medium, and a close-up shot. Those three shots are gonna give you a variation of different moods, feelings, and it's gonna keep your audience interested. So remember those three. The third tip I have is to use keyframes in your shots so you can mimic camera movements like panning in and panning out, panning left to right. It's gonna require you to crop in on your image, so it's probably best to shoot in something like 8K or 4K so you don't lose that quality. And most editing software should have some form of keyframing or some kind of effect that you can put in to mimic camera movement. The fourth tip I have is to use fake handheld effects, like I've been doing this entire video. If you may have noticed, there's a bit of a handheld effect going on, and that's entirely fake. I've got my camera on a tripod here, but we'll hop into Premiere and I'll show you how to do that. It's actually quite easy. All right, so here's my tripod shot. As you can see, there's no handheld effect going on. And how we're gonna establish that is you're gonna grab your camera and you're gonna point it at the wall, point it at your dog, point it at whatever, and just hit record. Make sure you're holding it in your hand so you get that handheld look. And once you do that, we're gonna import them into Premiere. And with our handheld shot, we're gonna put it in a nested sequence. So we're gonna scroll down and we're gonna hit nest. Hit OK. And now that it's in a nested sequence, we're gonna come over to our effects tab right here. We're gonna type in warp. We're gonna go down to warp stabilizer and we're gonna drag it onto our nested clip. Now it's gonna analyze for a little while. It depends on your specs. It may take a while. It's gonna tell you the frames right here. So just wait until that's done and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, now that it's done stabilizing, we're gonna double click our nested sequence to open it up, and we're gonna just delete the shot that's in there. We're gonna go back to our main timeline and we're gonna just copy this, head back over to our nested sequence, and then just paste it in there. And then we'll come back to our sequence here and we'll see how the effect worked out. And there you go, mimicking a handheld effect on a tripod shot. And that's about it for this video. If you enjoyed it, consider hitting that like button. I'd really appreciate it. And if you want to see more on solo filmmaking, solo B-roll, anything solo, then consider subscribing because I'm a one-man show. Most of my stuff I film by myself or my tripod films me. I get my wife occasionally, but it's very rare. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.